Hi, Warriors. It's Tuesday, 11 a.m. Eastern time, so it's time for the Coach and Mike show.
It
Hey,
is.
Mike, how you doing, buddy?
I'm fine, Coach. Really, I'm doing well. I am.
All right. I just want to,
Thank you for asking.
I want to bring viewers back to our last show, and we talked about the weakness in AMD and that it filled a gap. And it was my belief that it might be portending gap fills in some of the other runaway high tech like Microsoft. I saw you just showed Microsoft in the room. It's looking pretty heavy.
Well, listen. Yeah.
So I mean the gap's way down here, and then the last gap fill. I think the last one to fill the gap is going to be Nvidia. So they don't look great to me. And something else I've noticed, Mike, and this is a shift. It's always good to be aware when things are changing, and that can give you a little bit of a message. So just look at the
You have to
intraday.
good to be aware. You have to be aware. It's
You
not
you
good
you
to be
you
aware.
better be. You better be. If you can't read markets as far as comparing them to one another, Tim's favorite, relative strength. So here's a structure in NAS 100 on a 2 hour since the top, and just keep that decline in mind compared to the S&Ps. It's weaker, and that's a shift. I even think there's a possibility, dare I say it, that we're getting a failing rally in Apple. And I don't think the market is prepared for what can happen here, Mike. I think there's at least for a test of 4,200 coming. This was the important line. It was a wedge line on the daily chart in the S&P. And we had what's called a throwover, which means when you're short and it gaps up over a return line during the throwover, most have the right to throw up.
Right.
Okay, but now we're starting to trade back into the formation of a rising wedge, and to me it looks like it shifted to be selling rips. There's probably things you could still buy dips in that are outperforming the market, but this is telling me
Notably
that,
laggards.
yeah,
Because I'm not seeing
okay.
any option flow come back on these big movers that these
Any
8 to 10
puts,
stocks that
Mike?
led it.
Any puts on some of these big issues where people are no protection?
No protect. No, I
That's
mean
even more.
they're rolling out of winners. They're rolling them. The majority I
They're
see.
rolling calls.
Yeah, they are.
Okay, so they're
Yeah.
still rolling calls. So
Yes, they are.
I'm all wet.
I certainly don't see any new positions going here at this level. Not to say it's wrong or right. I'm here
Yeah.
to break to articulate the option flow unbiased, which I do. But I don't see anybody building anything here in this pullback. Maybe a little Amazon. The only one I see is Amazon.
Okay, and I'd say that gold bulls are disappointed because we've had a weak dollar and weak gold. Gold is trying to negate a breakdown. I had this as a major. Uh, where was that? Oh, I'll just put up the daily. What's that? Oh, that's a Dixie. No wonder it looks strange to me. All right, so here's the gold. You had this major breakout line that goes back. This trend line's like a year and a half, 2 years old. And, we're trying to fail here in the gold, and that's with a weak dollar. So,
Coach, I haven't seen, and you paid attention to option sweeps, but more importantly, if I may, correct me if I'm wrong, to any type of mental sweeps, because that's your
yeah,
forte. That's one of your greatest acumens. As you know, we've been working for a couple of years now together, and when on the pullbacks of gold before, you can relate that AEM, maybe some GFI. I haven't seen any sweeps at all on
okay.
any gold pullback at all.
All right, well, here's my level. I think eventually on the GDX, we may be able to buy it back at these lows,
Yeah,
a shade under 27. And we did talk about GFI. You got out at the top, Mike,
I did.
or pretty close to the top, and
I did.
that we'd see 13 again. So we might even see 12.
How
But
about how about the FSM, Coach?
the what?
FSM.
Okay. They're acting like they're trying to bottom. I look at the
You had this FSM. Yeah,
Yeah,
311.
yeah,
That's where I was
yeah.
288 was my original buy target three,
All
six
right.
months ago.
Now, actually, this is holding up much better than
Well, that's the
a
one.
lot of the stocks, because
There you go.
Endeavor has taken out its 50% retrace. It's retraced the whole move. FSM is the one that on the
See that
monthly,
EXK? See, go back to Endeavor. It's almost like it's scarred with that big move down previously. That you see that
yeah,
back in the middle of May, if you will,
yeah, this
and you pull
break.
up FSM, it's
You
cleaner. You know what I mean? It's not. It's
great eye, great
people aren't
eye.
scarred from it yet. You know what I mean? It's still.
Right. I'm gonna, this is my plan. I don't now own any of
Please.
it yet. It's still not acting great compared to the pop we have in metals. I don't think that the 2240 buy I put out in the room is the bottom of the market. The low is 22.
No, but you.
But I think we could rally to 24 and a half or so, and then go to 20. So,
Well, that would be
what I want to see, Mike, and what you want to see, and we'll both see it, is a day when the bullion is getting hammered
and they're
and the
not going
shares
down.
are unch
Right.
or
No.
up.
Right.
Okay. So, I mean, we haven't
That's,
seen
by the
many.
way, that's a sign of maybe something on a bottoming process, regardless of the entity. I
Yeah.
appreciate the trade
Yeah.
in the metals, but that's basically what you want to see on any asset class across the board.
You still holding Freeport?
I am not much. I saw. Listen, let's. Do you have the chart?
Yeah.
What would you do? I have 20% left. I bought it well, but when you hold
Well,
the
it's sure acting better than the copper, because the copper, I don't like the copper. I think copper is going lower. It's not a bad chart.
I took the majority off. If you said yesterday in the room,
You
go back
wrote
to
you wrote
PGA.
this little dip off, and
No, I actually bought it on the doji above the 200 day, if you
okay,
will.
right here. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I
Yeah,
mean,
nice trade.
I didn't think I was going to make much. It was a chicken trade. I saw the gap there. That's why, if you saw in the room yesterday, I did take the majority off at 39.55 to 39.60, I believe. I have 20% left. If it's going to work, then maybe I'll buy some BHP. I'll go into some X. I'll try to make maybe buy some MT. Try to get sexy in some metal plays because I have a
The
little.
ETF looks worse than Freeport looks
Well,
better
why did
than,
I buy Freeport, Coach?
because you're a stock picker.
Incorrect, because there were option sweeps.
That too. But you don't trade ETFs.
No, but no,
Really?
not, but no, I don't trade it. No, I don't trade that. I don't even
Because
trade.
I mean, because you're a stock picker.
Yeah, no, I
And
am. But
okay. So,
but FCX had the option sweeps behind it. So I said,
okay.
at least there's something, at least there's maybe there's something under it where if I get in trouble, they'll come back to it. I had a
Okay.
plan on my downside. That was basically what I was doing.
All right. So I don't like copper. I mean, all we did was rally back with the big blow off, and the economy might be coming back, some decent numbers, strong job numbers, housing. Use a lot of copper in housing. But this to me looks like it could just be another failing rally, another lower high, and just a continuation formation that's going to take us lower. And, Mike, I'm actually, should I say, the C word, think that there's potential for a serious decline in July.
Yeah.
I'm saying that the bulls got
I'm stuck to
harpooned.
it. I always stuck to it. That's what I said in June, late June, July. And I
Yeah,
agree with you.
the end of the quarter, we're going to get the
Excuse me.
window dressing out of the way here. And, look, the Bears were harpooned in June, but the bulls may cry in
But it's too,
July.
there's more complacency,
And that,
complacency.
yeah.
Hence
So
the
where's the
VIX.
greedometer? I'm curious, where's that nowadays? I'm going to give you the screen. I've talked
Oh,
about
sure.
what I wanted to talk about. Because one of the guys I follow saying put call ratios, screaming sell. His moving average of breadth keeps making lower highs as the market makes higher highs. The VIX is where 14,
Yeah,
13.
the
I
VIX, I
think
believe. Hold on.
bullish consensus on that is like, I don't know, 10,
The VIX
10%
is
like it.
13 and a half, basically, give or take.
Yeah,
All right, so let's look. What were we looking at, Coach? The question was, I was looking for something. I apologize.
that's okay.
Let's
Oh,
go. You know what? The fear greed.
if you're agreeing. Thank you.
Well, I'll go to the CNN fear greed. It's based. Listen, it's the same. Trust me.
What do you think of that crazy stuff in Russia over the weekend?
Well, you know what? You thought the market would be up a lot, didn't you? Here's
You mean
greed,
when they
extreme
settled it?
greed.
Okay, we're not at
Maybe listen.
extreme greed.
Maybe they run it up into the end of the quarter, the end of the half. I get it.
Yeah,
You know what I mean. But
yeah.
until then, I just listen. I refocus now. The bottom line is this. All right. You get the Fed that's going our way. A lot of names, that you want to see back up in a lot of names that they're buying off weakness, which I don't see right now. The majority of the sharp guys, they trim longs. Hedge funds did cover. You know what I mean? It's in the end of the quarter. I understand that sentiment is stretched. It's still stock picking. It's because let me go back to TGH. I posted some let me go back to
Have
TGH.
they taken some of the air out of the bubble of AI?
Listen, it could be. Listen, it looks like it could be a dip to buy the way things are going so far, Coach. The air of the,
Yeah, it could be. I'm just saying that between here and 4,200, people will, probably get things at better levels if we go to 4,200, which was kind of the breakout.
This is important. Let's go to stock and indices. Let's get back into the routine because that'll get me back on track, including yesterday, which was Monday. S&P chart. Okay, this is tactical sentiment today. Goldman Sachs. Read it what it's about. I don't give an opinion. It's Goldman. If you want an opinion, I'll give it. JP Morgan's view. Kalanovic. He was the biggest winner in bull last year. He couldn't be more wrong this year. But the old Wall Street
Has he capitulated?
Not yet. The Mike Wilson is doubling down, unfortunately, and Kalanovic hasn't capitulated. So we're waiting on those two. Bank of America research is hedge AI FOMO and how low can the volume go. Stocks.
Volatility.
Here's what I wanted to point out.
More call options in the VIX. I see something right there.
Have changed hands on an average day in June than any other month on record. And that's what's keeping the VIX low. There's a way out. Like I told you. That's why it's stock picking, and it's basically. Don't get me wrong. There's way too much.
Well, what does that mean, though? More have changed hands. It just means
buys and sells.
More volume.
Yeah,
there's a lot of volume.
Well,
at these levels,
a lot of volume. Listen, this is where I come from. I don't. This is as everybody knows, or in even room, a funky instrument. It does. Complete the opposite. I also can compare that to something, but I'll be a gentleman. VIX, this is what the volume. It hasn't made a lower low. Oh, this is 1 minute. This is the VIX. All right. So it's doing it. I want to see it capitulate with the volume. Every time it does the big volume here, it bounces.
I don't see there's no, I don't see any volume.
Well, no volume, but every time it gets low, boom, volume. When it even breaks new lower lows here, it's breaking lower lows. Boom, volume. It had a couple but that's it.
They're all short, selling every rally.
Maybe it comes into the end of the quarter. Maybe it's buy the rumor, sell the news. I don't know what catalysts are out there yet. I thought that, Sunday evening when, Russia had the advance or whatever you want to call it, was the market actually
that could have been.
The market opened down on it, but I don't,
No, well, that's because he didn't go into Moscow. If he'd gone into Moscow, you would have seen a limit down move in the S&Ps.
Yeah, that's true.
They brokered a deal.
Yeah.
And
right.
But the story's not over.
Now, another example, Coach, is this. And I'd love to get trades and everything I'm not actively trading right now that much. More than 1.3 million calls of chip makers, Nevada, AMD, and Intel have traded this much, on track for the highest monthly total on record. Now, I understand that times have changed and, it's not 1980 where options, these stats are archaic, but, they're just saying that if they're not in it, they're buying calls to catch up. You know what I mean? If they're not in the stock, they're catching up with the calls and vice versa.
It tells me they see no downside. They're all buying calls.
That I agree as well.
So to me, that's a bit of a contrarian indicator. A record amount of call buying. That means everyone's long. Who's left to buy?
Well, you know what? The rotation is still evident, Coach. As I go to my main screen,
Well, I'm just talking about those last two
Oh,
stocks
no,
we're
no, no,
talking about.
that's fine. But here we go. I mean, I'm saying is that, they're even squeezing a stock like Upstart but uh until I can't remember the last time I ever saw a sea of red. You know what I mean? Or a red screen. And that's because there's always the market's still so complacent because there's always a way out. You know what I mean? The only way out was usually to buy. It's like I use this analogy. When you're on an 18-hole golf course and it rains and there's one shed for cover, everybody runs to it and everybody's going to squeeze in or pay up for it. It's just like how the VIX was just a normal trading. Now you can trade the VIX during the day. There's always an out, there's always an edge. And that's why things get really exacerbated to the up and to the downside, if you will. So that's why if everybody's waiting to VIX, to turn, don't do it. I would gauge more at Microsoft, Apple, the
Looks,
dollar, crude. You know what I mean?
yeah, crude. I still think there's one more flush. I wanted
There
to
you
ask
have
you.
Lennar, home builders, year highs.
Yeah,
Home Depot now went from worst to best. Here's Home Depot. Like I said, 2 days ago, it looked like it was breaking down, or it very could at least be broken down with that volume. That volume, it did whatever. Even 2 weeks ago or a week ago, even these two bars here, that could have been the turn. And I'm not saying it was a base or a turn or a bottom because it was in a range. But now all of a sudden, not even on that high volume, boom, Home Depot goes from 301 to 3 turn. Now everybody's buying them. Lows. And you know what? It was kind of an obvious trade because the home builders were going up as well, but it was almost like a delayed reaction. So everybody chased them on board. They were the home builders.
yeah,
Uh,
can't argue with you.
FCX, a stock like this. Well, what else? AMD gave it all back. Still, here's AMD. I mean, it could very easily pull Home Depot, and after this bullish trend, it's yet to be determined if it gave it back. Blah blah blah. I'm sure you have a technical better view of it than I do, but this could take one day. It could break that frozen rope down, and it could
Yeah,
go to 116 tomorrow, right
yeah,
here.
good. Yeah,
So that's where we're sitting at. So don't worry about the indices.
or 82.
No, like with the VIX being so low, I wouldn't be expecting any major turnarounds like in AMD today. The market's pretty strong, and you would think there'd be some movement, but with the VIX again being redundant, so low, and the VIX means volatility. Don't expect any major reversals. The strong, like Home Depot, for a couple of days are staying strong. A stock like Apple, even so, I know it's there, but the VIX so abated, there's not a lot of volatility. So why not have an algo buy it until things change? So until it changes, that's what's gonna happen.
I've been told that it's normally positive going into the 4th of July weekend. That it's normally seasonally strong going into the barbecue.
Well, SL Green, you didn't have to look at this SL Green stock yesterday. This is a perfect chart. Had huge volume, breaking a year low yesterday, had the same amount of volume continue, broke out on a high. And all you had to do was put a buy stop break yesterday. It's a REIT. And of course, I put it in the room, follow the REITs, SL Green, SL
Okay,
Green,
would TLT
BNO, another REIT. It's still going higher. BXP, they're not barn burners, but there's still a place to hide.
and get yield?
TLT. There you go. What are you going to do? There's nothing.
Yeah, but if we do start cracking 104,
But
that should help the REITs some more.
But the thing is, so I'm going to wait for the TLT to make a move to 104, which, by the way, considering the range I'm showing, is a big move, and then I'm going to be paying up. It just,
Yeah,
I don't know.
got it. Yeah,
I don't know what else.
it hasn't proved. It's actually been rejected 3 times on your chart from 104.
Now, let's give an example. Here's Tesla, same thing as AMD. Is this the gap base here? Look at the volume that came in the last 2 days. Okay, so Tesla went from 275 to 240. All right, so you're going to take a stab here for that similar type of AMD move. Maybe it goes back to 257. You're wrong. The stock goes to 220.
Right. Or 200.
So the volume's there, the price action's there.
I
And as
don't
an
like
active
the chart.
trader, narrow your
I'd
time.
sell a rally on this one.
Well, you're not alone. And by the way, that's what people are doing. What else is going
Okay,
on?
well, I like to be
RCL,
alone.
RCL. I understand. I appreciate that. And you know what? You're going to be wrong before you're right. But when you're right, it's a time to add to it because then it's going to cascade in your direction. Are you with me?
Mike.
United Airlines, Walmart, PDD. I traded that well this morning. Remember that PDD? It was one of my biggest losers of the year so far. I came in short at this day right here. It had earnings the next day, 62.
Yeah.
I turned
Yeah.
around. It was 73. That's 10 points against me. I did cover it, but here you go. And you know what? I shorted it today a little bit. I made a schnitzel. I shorted a bunch on the top. My first short was 73, if you will. I short the top of it was 73.40. I covered at 72. So I made $1.60 to, just as a trade. Yes, I have some losers. Yes, I have some winners, but it's a trade. They're giving you something to do.
Okay. Well, I think you could count on a weaker dollar for a while. So we'll see what happens here over the next couple weeks. I just would be careful in July.
Yeah, I agree.
And
Snowflake had a good earnings, popped up big this morning. I mean, Snowflake was 169. It opened at one. It opened up 10, and you know what? It looked like it was going to go right here. But you know what? Some of them kept going, and some of them sold off. Who knew it was going to go to 177 to 170? It could have been the same as Roblox or Unity Software got the big upgrade. So
how's Netflix look? Because it kind of led this whole rally in June.
Roblox had those calls yesterday too. I ignored them, if you remember. I ignored them. Roblox calls. But you know what? Roblox, 37 to 42. It's a $5 move. You know what I mean? What am I, you know what I mean? So what am I gonna make a half out of it now? So Netflix, same thing. Netflix looks the same as Tesla, looks the same as Microsoft.
Heavy.
All these big daddies, Nevada,
That's what I'm saying. They're going to rotate out of the stars and go to the things you were talking about. I really do think there's going to be rotation out of big tech. People are starting to write about the concentration. What are they going to do if they sell Microsoft? They're going to buy some of the things that you're seeing, less well-known names.
I mean, they're taking up stock like a Wayfair, and I'm short it. Don't get me wrong, and I shouldn't be. But at this, stock a month ago was 34. Now it's 62, and I know it's a dog. Just every time it gets up here. But the problem with what I did is I see the volume here. I shorted it too early because it pulled back. So now I'm early. Now it's going up on no volume. So I'm in a little bit of trouble. So I'm going to cut a loss there. I'll show you where I'm shorted from. It is what it is. Where am I shorted from? Right here, 60.22. I'm shorted. Price is 61. So I'm down $1.80 in it. I'm not down much, but one of these situations, side note, small positions can lead to your bigger losses. I'm not just going to keep grinding this thing just because it's going up. You know what I mean? I'm going to try to finagle it when it gets maybe down to 61, hopefully right here. I'll take a half a point. I'll take a half a point loss. Maybe my other shorts would have come in or something else would have happened. But, I took a stock like a PDD because I know that I'm not going to be right on every trade. I'm going to need a cushion on letting some of the losers go. And when I say go, not making losers go against me, meaning stocks this is the thing. If I was short, if I wasn't short Wayfair now, would I short it now? The answer is no.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm not going to add to it. So now I'm looking for a little bit of a market pullback to get out of it. That's all. So I reevaluate every position that I'm in or down, up or down by about 10, 15, 10, 30. And I say, if I wasn't in this position now, would I do it? And that gives me the confirmation with the 25 plus year experience, putting my ego aside to see if I would actually do that, yes or no. And that's what keeps me in the game, I guess.
And keeps people that are in the room filled with great actionable ideas from Mike. If you're a stock trader, you're missing out if you're not here in TradeGATEHub when Mike is posting.
When you're self-coach, and this is the reason why, is because we're wrong a lot or wrong, whatever, 3 out of 3, 4 out of 10 times. But being wrong, it's different from hitting a bad golf shot from Tiger Woods, because you can correct it and you know what you did wrong, than if you're an 80 handicap and try to hit the ball and you just miss it. It's how we correct our positions at a high level or correct our plans, knowing what we did not wrong, not staying wrong or right, and adjusting appropriately, because anybody can eventually hit the ball well. Over time, if you hit 100 golf balls, you're going to hit the ball well. You're going to hit one good, but it's not over time, right?
Not me.
No. Well, you know what I mean.
People ask us, do you play golf? I said, yeah, Army golf.
Army golf. Well, they have everything now, Coach. They have Frisbee golf. They have all types of golf now.
I
I'm
said
sure you threw the
trading's
frisbee
a
back. I'm
trading's
sure you
enough
threw the frisbee
aggravation.
back there in Haight-Ashbury. I'm sure you threw the
Yeah.
frisbee like this, backhanded too.
Yeah, I know.
You
Lefty.
know,
Yeah.
yeah. You're lefty?
Yeah.
Like my wife's a lefty.
Anyway, Mike.
Anti-VIX in the middle. So as we
Yeah.
approach 11:30 Eastern on a Tuesday, don't do much. Realize the plans that going have. We have earnings, a couple economic indicators. Take stock of what you're doing and do what I do. If you're not in it, if you weren't in, maybe peel some off things that aren't working. If they're not working now, usually they're probably not going to work as they, things
What's
usually
that
work.
last thing on from Flow Jesus? Wise guy puts. What are they buying puts in? Underneath that. No, now you passed it. There. Jets.
Airlines.
Oh, okay. Airlines.
Jets are bearish. And
Okay.
they're going into July.
Yeah,
So,
that's
by the way,
yeah.
Delta had their quarterly report today, and it's ripping. So maybe somebody's hedging against that. How much is that dollar wise? Actually, it's a decent bet.
Yeah,
They got
they
today
said
a couple
unusual
hundred
volume.
thousand. But you
Yeah.
see, it's a multi-week high, a 52-week high. So the guy's buying puts into a multi-week high. Maybe he's long all
Locking
the
it.
airlines
Yeah.
and wants to
Locking it in.
hedge.
Yeah. All right. How do you know the difference as to whether or not it's a
You said it
hedge
yourself.
or initiating a position?
Wise guy. A wise guy tries to pick the top.
Okay.
You know what I mean? When he says wise guy, a wise guy's trying to get cute.
Okay.
You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying?
I
A
do.
real option. It does not really word it that way. Oh, yeah, like opening bulls. That's what you want
Okay.
to see. You know what
Okay.
I mean?
And bears.
Right. They're
And
buying
you see no
Roblox.
bears.
By the way, they're buying Roblox calls into January. That's interesting.
Yeah, that's long term, man.
And you know what? Let's look at the I mentioned this just before. Roblox. You know what? You could go ahead.
FedEx.
Well,
Yeah.
FedEx has looked like a great long last
Yeah.
night, I believe. The FedEx chart. There's FedEx.
Oh
Why not?
gosh. Yeah.
There's FedEx. Multi-year highs. Why not? And they're buying more Roblox. I get it. You know what? Maybe I'll buy it on a pullback. It holds the moving averages on a day like again when the indices are weak and it's holding up stronger than it should. And I see some more option flow nibbling. That's my confirmation to start. You know what I mean? It's not that hard. Just to build your style.
Great listening to you, Mike.
You too, coach. All right, be in the room here all week, firing
Okay.
away. You too. If you didn't, by the way, catch Coach's 9:30, which I'm going to go back and do because 9:30 the market opens. Unfortunately, I'm not being able to watch it, but go to the red YouTube button. It's where you see Coach give his plan, his macro plan for the day. We come along a little bit later and maybe try to show you how to trade it. But
We're
this is
getting
our
some
best,
pretty good views here, Mike, on
excellent
our
views.
daily stuff.
254. Peter 562. No, this is Coach. Bravo.
Yeah.
How many do we have? The followers. Listen.
That's going up too.
That's going to break 3,000. Maybe
We're at
maybe
2,300.
3,000 by the end of the quarter.
We were at 2,300 about 4 months ago, so we
Right.
picked up.
And then, as I
600.
said, you want to know why we picked up, and it's thanks to A, our content, and B, the marketing team. For those of you that trade TradeView markets altogether, should see or recognize that we've made a tremendous marketing push because we have no choice. We're growing larger and larger. So as we come together and bring all these financial instruments with the best spreads out there, we have to keep pumping and keep getting better and greater because we have a lot to show and a lot to give and a lot of support to give as well.
I think that our show would go off well on Spotify.
Probably.
Maybe the team will look at it.
Well, I know that they fired Meghan Markle and Prince Harry because they were no good at Spotify. There's certainly a spot open.
Yeah, well, I think we are royalty too, Mike.
There
in the
he is.
FinTwit world, we're royalty.
But listen,
anyway,
we are. But you know what? This is what's even better. It makes me happy. Gerard's building his own style. He gets on sentiment and option flow. He saw it yesterday. Saw it in Roblox.
What a difference in a year. What a difference in a year.
Oh, listen, I have a feeling that G Money had a little bit. He's smarter than we know he is. That's why he's smart. He's the quiet one. He's
a secret agent, I think.
But he did see the roadblocks. And you know what, G? Maybe next time we'll just buy a little instead of just getting in there and hoping it goes up. You got to piece into these things. But note that the option flow is working. Gerard trades on sentiment, so he's building his own style. The cable guy doesn't need any help, that's for sure.
No, I mean, Paul is just, scalp after scalp, very active, and very patient.
Very, no, he
He
knows what
really
he's doing.
picks his spots.
Well, I think Paul's been beat up
Respect.
enough and he's very self-deprecating to the point where that made him that way. And every
Yeah.
trader does. So we'll leave it at that.
He's a musician.
Is he?
Yeah, because when I brought up our guest last week, Peter, started as a musician before he got into the markets, and
Oh,
Paul said, that's interesting. I am too." So music is geometry and math too. So
I believe that.
people relate to it that have that background. All
Okay.
right, bro. Don't
Okay.
just count your pips, count your blessings. Join us in the room and set up a demo at TradeView.
You have to get right. And listen, we're here to walk you along and help you get, and help you do it. We're the lifeguards. We're not going to let you drown. It's our advantage believe me, it's our advantage to have you excel and to actually communicate in the room with us and not just waiting to hear what we're going to say. That's our point. We want as many people on our level, believe me. So with that being said, Coach, thank you again.
And with all this geo stuff percolating, Mike, don't count on it being a quiet summer. In fact, lower liquidity during those 2 months offer opportunities for bear raids, all kinds of short squeezes, and there's going to be great trading this summer. It's not
Yes,
going to
there is.
slow to a snail's pace.
No, you know
I
what, Coach? Those
promise.
days are over. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Those
yeah,
days of being in Hamptons and saying, I got to get back to the office instead of sitting in the beach are over. I
yeah.
trade billions of dollars on my phone. Trust me.
Okay.
Multi-billions.
From
So
parking lots.
I got to tell you, I start thinking,
You're really the parking lot trader, from what
well,
I hear.
it's not the only
Huh?
thing I've done in parking lots in my life. Hubcaps, car radios, women. Oh God.
Anyway,
Anyway,
all right, all right,
I'm being facetious.
all
It
right,
was actually
parking
all
lot.
right. Cheers.